I'm Dave.
And I'm Conrad.
I'm Steve Berlin. We're Los Lobos, and Roy Brown once said, "There's good rockin' tonight."
Hurry up, my little beauty.
Oh, there. For all of you out there looking for good, honest effort and real roots in their music, boy, have we got a band for you. LA's Los Lobos, which means the Wolves in English. As I said earlier, this band tied with Bruce Springsteen and the E Streets for Rolling Stone's Band of the Year, and I can honestly say that there's not another band quite like Los Lobos. They play great Saturday night drink and party music, quick tempo polkas, Tex-Mex blues, and neo-country music. In other words, they represent all that is American music, and they are no spring chickens. These guys played top 40 cover tunes until they couldn't do it anymore. They started playing their own roots music on Mexican instruments, and then after doing it, they reversed and went back to electric instruments and again played joyous music. Here's the Grammy-winning Los Lobos.
The title, How Will the Wolves Survive? I know this has been asked before, but it should be answered again, and maybe the answer changes from time to time. Initially, the thought was you were thinking of yourselves?
Yes, we were like thinking we wanted to use the translation of Los Lobos on the record for a title somewhere, some kind of, just use it somewhere. And so with that idea in mind, Louis was looking, our drummer was looking across one of the National Geographics one day, and he found the article on the wolf, the survival of the wolf, and he read the article and just kind of brought the idea over, and here's the title for the record, see what you think, and that was good.
But the initial video had this great thread of young Mexicans coming in, one would presume, to Los Angeles, and surviving in the streets of Los Angeles.
Well, it's not, okay, it's about the wolf itself, the animal, and it's also about, American culture and using the wolf as a symbol, of something that's,
threatened.
American culture, yeah, it's threatened, by all the crap you hear on the radio, and well, just the way it's controlled, where young bands that are really doing something, or artists, whatever, they can't get through, they can't break the barrier. So that's part of it.
We got sort of a parallel, so to speak, like the American cowboy, who's that whole thing is kind of being missed nowadays, and it's not part of our culture as much.
The farmers, throw that.
What was the story about Texas?
It's just a real rough audience. They didn't know who we were or what we were doing. And like, we played a couple songs, the accordion songs, and there was like no anything. It was total silence when we finished the songs. Just like they'd be like. So we played all the Cream songs that we knew, and then all the Creedence songs that we knew, and then we played the Cream songs again. Yeah. They like that.
I love that. The second video, where'd you shoot the second video?
At a place.
Al's Bar in Los Angeles.
Al's Bar?
Al's Bar, yeah. It's
that's glam.
It's an artist hangout downtown. It's a pretty funny little place.
How long did it take to shoot? You just seal the doors and go at it?
Yeah, it took us most of the day. Yeah.
12 to 8 or something like that.
Yeah. Did you talk about what the band would like to do with video? Video is a very powerful tool. You can get to a lot of people quickly.
Yeah, basically we wanted to just do
real straightforward.
Straightforward.
Make it look like Rumblefish. Seriously, that's what I told the director. Try and make it look like Rumblefish, so it kind of looks like Rumblefish a little bit.
What do you think of this success that's come? What seems like quickly, but as we know, it's never overnight. David?
Well,
what do you think about it when you just have time to yourself?
It's good to see that, people are picking up on what we've been doing all along. And I don't think it's, we're not going to shoot up and be stars and all this. It's just, we're building something up, pretty firm foundation. I think, it's a solid thing. It'll be around for a while, I hope.
Set it off.
Just when you're thinking about it, it must bring a smile to your face, must make you feel good.
Yeah, I feel good about the idea that someone finally from our area has broken out into a wider audience than usual. Like a lot of the bands in the old days that came on, they were pretty limited. They had a limited audience, and that's not happened to us. It's coming out. People are really appreciating what we're doing.
Trivia time. We play a song called Come On, Let's Go in our set. Who had the original hit? We're not telling.
I know.
So basically came from The three of us been in a demo studio probably about 7 or 8 years ago. We used to be a small band that did demos, and then people would say, well, you know, where are the band? Where can we see the band? And the band was then called the Baseball Boys. You know, we'd just been doing these demos as a silly name. So we started gigging around London. We did probably about 200, well, about 100 shows around London. And everyone kept saying, oh, you sound really American. You know, we kept saying, well, how can we sound American if we come from London, you know, East London? And all of a sudden, like, it was about 7 or 8 companies got interested in signing the band. We came over to this country, and it just sort of took off from there. But I mean, most people think that we came from an overnight success, but believe me, we did like 2 or 3 years of real graft work in London, didn't we? That's right. It's been your dream to do something all your life, right? And you've got like 5 years of probably being successful at, you know, at the most, isn't it, I'd say? Yeah. So therefore, for that 5 years, you know, you could work all your life and earn nothing, you know. But for 5 years, you can go out, you know, live your dream, probably end up with some money in the bank, and have done something with your life. And I think if I had to go back now and just go, well, it could have been good, I'd have been, you know, it's like deflating myself. I don't want to do that. I want to be in a rock and roll band. I want to achieve something with my life. It was really funny because, like, when we made our first record and they gave it to us in a sleeve, we thought we'd made it. It didn't matter if it didn't sell, because that's all we wanted to do out of life, was get a record out. So anything after that was a bonus. And when we got our first gold records, we shied under with it.
Yeah, you always have to find a new goal to go out like John said. I mean, when we signed the record deal, we thought we'd made it. Then when we saw the album, we thought that was it. And then you start having, like, hopefully success, whether it be singles or albums or whatever. So there's always a new goal. And 5 years down the road, the new goal would probably be to maintain the level of success and the standard of songs and the level of playing, all that stuff, just to keep going as long as possible.
What about breeding them ducks?
Breeding the ducks, that's pretty serious.
Trying to get a duck farm.
Yeah.
The Outfield just live one day at a time.
Barely.
It's Billy Graham, isn't it? Genuinely a band that really wants to do it for the right reasons. We care about each other, we care about being in this band, and we care about our future, so therefore we work really hard at it. You know, we realise it's not a game and we need to work hard, but at the same time we really enjoy it so much that we have, you know, it's good fun doing it.
Indy is back, folks, and with it comes this hat and this shirt, your chance to win it next week. Let me tell you something. Thanks to Paramount Pictures, I was able to fly to Los Angeles a couple of weeks ago to have a look at Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which opens across Canada tonight. And as an added bonus, I got to talking with Harrison Ford about this long-awaited sequel.
Well, I was ambitious that if we did this thing again, having done it twice, that we offer the audience something new, that we allow them to see another side of the character that we hadn't seen before. And we hit upon a very happy device, I think, in the introduction of Indiana's father. And we get to see the relationship between those two, and in that relationship we see a different Indiana Jones than we've ever seen before. It's a relationship that I think has a lot of humor and a lot of emotion to it, and one that every member of the audience has some experience with. So it provides us with an emotional center to the film. And I'm very pleased about that. I'm very pleased about the way it worked out. I thought Sean Connery was a brilliant bit of casting. And the writing, I think, of that relationship is very good. A lot of wit, a lot of humor, and as I said, a lot of warmth and emotion. River Phoenix plays Indiana Jones as a young boy, and we see him growing up. We see, it's an opening kind of section of the film, the teaser, what we call the teaser, where we learn something about Indiana's relationship with his father, and we see him in a situation that allows us to get a hint of where some of his attitudes come from. His fear of snakes is foreshadowed. It's a very intriguing way of developing the structure of the film. So we start out with the young Indiana and his father, then we cut to the middle of the chase, as it were, to Indiana Jones as we know him. And then we introduce the father, which is the real concentration of the plot is on retrieving my father, Indiana's father, from the clutches of the bad guys.
Alison Doody, how and why were you chosen for this role as Dr. Elsa Schneider?
I think it was because I did a good test. I was very lucky that I held my wits about me. that I didn't freak out completely and say, ah, God. You know, so I pulled through that. And I think that naturally is a big plus. I know that plenty of the other girls that have been up for the part as well had done very good jobs. But it's just looking right, being in the right place at the right time, and having a lot of luck behind you.
It's this one. His reaction to Sean Connery playing the role of your father?
When they suggested Sean for the part, my first reaction was that he's not old enough. He's only 12 years older than I am. We're more contemporaries than we are separated by a generation. He's a great pleasure to work with. I was very happy for the opportunity to work with him. Very consummate performer and a very nice man as well.
Well, Sean was great fun on set because he's also a great man to observe and watch, and that's a great learning process for me. He was a joker. He used to come in and he'd look at me like this, and then he'd go, "Alison, do," and he'd make all these jokes and laugh around, and so everything was. My life was made a lot easier on the film because there were light moments as well as heavy moments, and Harrison was the same when it came to scenes like love scenes and things like that he doesn't like doing, and I don't really like doing because it's all part of the job. It can get a bit embarrassing. He was very nice. He'd exercise his lips and things like that and say, "I'm ready, Stephen." So I mean, it was all great fun.
Why did you choose to film at Elstree Studios in England as opposed to American studios?
We've actually shot all 3 movies at Elstree Studios in England. On the very first movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, we had a lot of gigantic sets, and it was much more economical at that time to build the sets in England than on a soundstage here in Hollywood. And then I think that we got used to the crews and we got to have a rapport with the crews, and then there's a little superstition. Stephen didn't want to go somewhere else, and George did all 3 Star Wars there. So it's sort of a lucky studio for us. So that's a couple of reasons why we went back.
What movies have been milestones or turning points in your life, and why?
Well, there have been a couple of turning points in my career. I think American Graffiti is a turning point in that it was the first time I felt comfortable doing what I had been paid to do. That is, I developed a method of work that made me comfortable in the circumstances. I think Witness was another turning point because it demonstrated a certain versatility at a point when it needed to be demonstrated. I've never had a focused ambition in this business except to work with good people and to work on good projects. Well, just another day at the office.